Hey folks, today we are going to make a chicken version of a sloppy joe. That's right, a sloppy joe made with chicken breast. This recipe is inspired by having a few extra frozen chicken breast in the freezer that I just needed to get rid of. Here's a look at the ingredients we're going to need today. A sloppy joe sandwich consists of ground beef, or in this case it's going to be shredded chicken, onions, tomato sauce, ketchup, and Worcestershire sauce. First, let's go ahead and chop up our vegetation. There are several theories to how the sloppy joe sandwich began, but we do know by the early and mid 20th century American cookbooks were full of sloppy joe type recipes, although sometimes they went by different names: toasted devil, burger, chopped meat sandwiches, Spanish hamburgers, hamburger a la Creole, etc. But I don't think any of those names have been used in a very long time. The most likely theory of the sandwich's origin comes from about 1917 in Havana, Cuba, by a bar owner, I'm going to mispronounce this, Jose Abil y Ortiro, and he created just a simple sandwich filled with ground beef stewed in tomatoes. It was possibly his interpretation of ropa vieja, which I had to look this up. It looks very familiar in Mexican restaurants and Cuban restaurants, which is just shredded meat and stewed tomatoes. So it sounds familiar. Just put that on a bun. After we throw our onions in, go ahead and crush some garlic. I would prefer to use a garlic press. Give that a good stir. On a side note, the restaurant in Key West called Sloppy Joe's, the original name of that was Silver Slipper, and Ernest Hemingway himself in about 1937 convinced the bar owner, Joe Russell, to rename it to Sloppy Joe's. Not sure why. Here we're going to add a tablespoon of brown sugar. That gives you a richer flavor than just regular sugar. Go ahead and a little dash cayenne pepper. This is not a traditional recipe, by the way. And a couple of grinds of black pepper. Here goes the chicken from the freezer. I like to buy chicken in bulk from Sam's Club and then vacuum seal it in the freezer. It lasts a lot longer with minimum, very minimum freezer burn, because the plastic is right against the meat and all the air's been sucked out, so that preserves the chicken extremely well. Of course, you could be using ground beef for this, but then that wouldn't be sloppy chickens. So I start to add some ketchup, only to realize I am extremely low on ketchup. So I do add my chicken stock, and off camera I actually add a can, one of those small cans of tomato paste, and that worked extremely well. For a little extra kick, we add some of our favorite hot sauce, and we add some Dijon mustard. Regular mustard would be just fine. And some Worcestershire sauce. Probably about 2 tablespoons of each. Give it a good stir and turn the temperature up to hot. We're going to let that bring to a boil and then reduce it and just let it simmer for about an hour. In the meantime, let's go ahead and chop up our green scallions. we'll also chop up our jalapeno peppers. Notice that I am wearing a glove on one hand that's handling the food. That's because of the capsaicin that is in the jalapeno peppers. It will get under your fingernails and your skin, and it will burn you, especially if you touch your eye. So be sure you wear gloves. Be sure you wash very thoroughly after handling these. If you're new to cooking, you probably think that the heat comes from the pepper green part itself, where it's actually in this little sliver of a, not sure if you want to call that a vein or the exact terminology for it, but it's mostly in that vein, for lack of a better term, and the seeds. So if you want a little heat, leave that. If you just want the flavor but not the heat, carefully remove it, and you'll still get all the flavor of the jalapeno without all the pain. Fun fact, a jalapeno has a Scoville unit measurement of 2,000 to 8,000. A bell pepper has a Scoville unit of 0. What that means is a Scoville is a unit of measurement that the short definition is how many squirts mist of water will it take to extinguish the burning sensation in your mouth. That's a very, very crude definition, but that's what it is. So a bell pepper has 0, a jalapeno has 2,000 to 8,000. Currently, the hottest pepper in the world is a cultivar known as the Carolina Reaper. Why people breed peppers to be hotter and hotter, I have no idea. But the Carolina Reaper has a whopping Scoville measurement of 2.2 million. Why you would ever consume this, why you would ever make such a thing, is beyond my comprehension. This is looking good. We're just going to let this continue to simmer down. Basically, we're doing a stock reduction to get rid of some of the liquid. Now that we're at the end of our cooking time, we'll go ahead and add the scallions and the jalapenos. Give it a good stir, and we'll just continue to let that cook. Let those flavors meld together, and it's going to make a good dish. Now we shred this chicken any which way you like. I like taking a pair of tongs and a serving fork and just rip it apart. You know, if I try this recipe again, I think I will do it with some ground chicken or even perhaps some ground turkey. You can find ground turkey pretty easily at the grocery store, but if you have one of the mixers that has a meat grinding attachment to it, you can cube up your chicken or turkey for that matter, or any meat, and grind it just like you have ground hamburger. You can make grind chicken. Now we get to plate it and eat it. If you see the side dish, that is some of our miniature potato scallops. But check that out in the video. We'll put a link to it. Those are excellent. But basically, just cut open a bun. I prefer fresh buns that you have to cut open yourself from the bakery. And enjoy. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you will like and subscribe.